Welcome to Indie Tea, Demos to Discovery. I know we
Hey,
haven't spoken before. I'll introduce myself, Peter Lancelotti, and everyone, Denis Hulett, Mostly Blue, correct?
there you go.
All right,
Good to meet you, Peter.
same here. So you went from 1970s Cinema County rock guard with Ocean Breeze to statistician. That's like going from leather pants to spreadsheets. How did that happen?
It was a long journey. It involved a lot of music, a lot of recording, and a lot of drugs, and going back to
Say a lot
school.
of drugs.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, that era, I participated in that era, um, as one does. But
Oh, I was as depraved as you. In fact, we won't get into that.
yeah, it's probably not a good idea. Everybody understands. Uh, yeah, I had a band with some friends of mine that I had met in church when I was like 11 years old. And
Ocean Breeze had an eight-track studio back in the day. You were living the dream. Tell us what that scene was like when you were the cool kids in Cinema County.
it was really cool, and we were the cool kids because not very many people had any recording gear. We managed to borrow some money and bought a 8-track machine, a TAC machine, a little TAC board,
Oh, I
eight
had a
channel.
TAC too. I also had a TAC.
Yeah, it was cool. And we got that machine, and we were opened a studio, and our lead singer's their father had like a tool shed, and we poured new cement and remodeled the thing. Like we were all in a band together, so we were making money playing top 40 mostly in weddings and stuff. We take that money and sink it into the studio, and finally got the studio up and running, and we recorded a lot of local people.
How many times did you play Carpenters? I love the Carpenters.
Um, uh, Probably did they do Rainy Days and Mondays?
Yes, they did.
Yeah, we did that one early
Close,
on. I
close to
think
you is close to you is usually a wedding song too.
there we go. I might have played that at a wedding, but the Rainy Days and Mondays, I remember that.
Oh, I love that song. In fact,
Yeah.
now it's the Christmas holiday season. I'm actually thinking of doing a cover of Merry Christmas, Darling. I love the harmonies. On my Patreon account for some of my members, I did this the ending of the song where they sing, Merry, Merry Christmas. Well, I did it 40 years ago, and I found the cassette. She had just died in the 80s, 1982 or 1983, somewhere around there. And I swear to God, I don't know what happened, but the tape went faster after I recorded it. I scared the crap out of everyone. I sounded like her. It was weird. I put it on my Patreon account. A couple of people were like, wow, you do. Anyway, moving on with you.
Well, wait, I wanted to dive into that just for a
Oh,
sec, if you don't mind.
all right, sorry.
No, about your singing, because
Oh,
I watched through one of your interviews. I think it was with John from Whiskey Club,
oh yeah.
and you said you had back in the day had a 5-octave range.
Mhm.
Oh my God, that
Did you
seems
listen
incredible.
to my song El Moria?
Uh, I think I did. The one that I mainly I listened to the Kyrie.
Oh,
Uh,
that was my disaster. But yes, I do
were
sing
you singing that
probably.
high part?
I sing all those parts.
Yeah,
The thing
that
is, I can't mix vocals to save my life. I should have
yeah,
gone to Aaron Lee. Aaron Lee from the Dashing Skull Club has been teaching me everything on Studio One Pro 7.
nice.
Um, and he was so gracious when I did without the mechanical licensing, the Ballad of the Witch's Road from Agatha All Along. I did that last year. A couple of people asked, well, one in particular that has been coordinating this with you asked me if I used auto tune. I'm a classically trained singer and guitarist. I said, no, I didn't use auto tune. Why do you ask? He goes, well, man, you were like right spot on with the harmonies. Well, each track took me like maybe 13 to 12 to 13 takes before I got each track right. I did 6 voices and 7 tracks of instrumental. He said, you should have quantized it. I said, Rob, I did it in Audacity. which is not a professional DAW.
Right.
But I didn't know that. And when I told Aaron that, he's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I should have told." He was so gracious about it. And then he introduced me to Studio Pro 7. But yeah, I used to have a really, I mean, if you listen to the current song, El Moria of the First Ray, that is me doing all those high vocals in the background. I don't have a five vocal range anymore. I'm 64 years old, but I do have approximately close to four.
Yeah, I have close to two, maybe.
Well, John was saying the same thing, and I don't have any loss of hearing, although I'm losing my vision, but macular degeneration will do that. But yeah, yeah, I do have pretty good vocal range for my age. I don't know. I mean, I took a hiatus from the music industry for a long time.
Who is Peter? And then I would looked on Spotify and I went, oh, I've heard that song before. That
All
one.
over the earth.
Yeah,
So I think it's over the earth. I
something
did
like
that
that.
on the. I was going to do the Ballad of the Witch's Road professionally, but that's reading sheet music and doing six parts. And I thought, oh, by the time I started doing it, it was like close to October 1st. And I know I said in John's episode that I was going to do it. And I did it last year, and I thought, everybody's heard me do that. And I wrote Over the Earth in an hour. And
Well,
then do you know Ian of Sanctity of Crows?
I know the name Sanctity of Crows and I know some of their music, but
Oh,
I've never
he's
met them.
brilliant. I mean, he should be doing movie soundtracks. I've been cheering him on since, I don't know, for a year. Uh, and Rob, I've known for quite a while. In fact, I gave him some lyrics to do that song, The Traveler. And
Oh,
he's the one that asked me if I used auto tune on The Witch's Road. He said, you should have quantized it. I said, I couldn't. I didn't know how to do that. I was still learning how to use a DAW because I'm also an ACX book reader, audio book reader. And that's what you use, audio Audacity.
that tracks. I mean, I listening to your voice. As soon as I heard it, I went, oh man, this guy can sing, I bet.
Ah, that's nice of you to say. Well, I want to move on here.
Okay.
So here's what fascinates me. You made award-winning commercials for grocery stores. Now, did you ever think, quote, I went to music school for this, close quote, or was jingle money just too good to pass up?
Just trying to make a living as a musician. And actually, by that point, I quit being a musician. I dropped out of music before I was 30, and just stayed as a recording engineer and slash producer when things arose. And so it's so hard you're constantly trying to track down gigs and get a job, and you're great for a month working on a project and nothing. So it's looking for money. So I was really happy and had a lot of fun doing commercials. So
I
there was
can
no ill will about it at all. We made some really fun stuff. And it was a chance to hire my friends to come in and play and pay for it. It was great.
Well, I know what you mean. In fact, Catherine in last week's episode, she said the same thing. I mean, she's been doing music for 4 decades. She said she's done every job imaginable, but she did a lot of community work with students. I don't know if you listened to her episode. Uh,
No, I didn't.
yeah, she did this. It was a monthly thing where she was teaching children and then play with a professional band at the end of the month. And she did this just to build their confidence and to help them learn music. Very
Nice.
altruistic. I was just like, I'm always amazed by what she does. I've known her for 30 years. Anyway, so I get it.
Yeah, it's fun.
Well, I love hearing about the real connections behind music, such as you were saying. And you mentioned, and this is what I think you wanted to get into. You mentioned Bob and Teresa. You met them in church when you were 11, and you've been friends ever since. That is some longevity. I mean, I thought I've known Catherine a long time, but you guys have known each other forever, and you've been friends ever since, and that's amazing. So after Ocean Breeze, you had the Tony Lonely Band. Weird name, but I love it. I'm very weird, as you can tell. Then you shifted into recording, and then you went into engineering with a 24 track studio that you worked at while running your own 8 track setup. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll take the cheaper jobs and them in my 8 track, and then the ones that could afford the 24 track, I would do that. And I did a lot of my jingles out of my 8 track.
Okay, all right. So you were actually making money, and now you're back making music with this December 12th release of Out of the Blue. It's an EP, right?
That's right.
So what brought you full circle back to creating your own music after all those years behind the scenes?
It's all those years, what all those years were was kind of, I think I got really depressed and it's kind of heartbroken, I think, by the music industry because I was a young kid that had these big dreams and they all kind of just, didn't work out. Decided to go back to school and I couldn't listen to music anymore. I listened to talk radio for years. Just like, it's just some psychological pain. And then my kids were born, got married, changed careers. Um, and
Your wife's name
I,
is Susan, if I
Susan,
recall.
yeah. Um, and so wasn't into music again until my kids started to play that video game, Guitar Hero.
Oh,
And
yes.
all the songs that I grew up on were the songs in Guitar Hero for the most part. I mean, and
It's almost like playing the air guitar, but it's an actual guitar.
yeah, and I couldn't play Guitar Hero, the kids could, but just listening to them and watching them do it. And then my son started to get interested in playing guitar, and so I showed him how to play a few of those songs. And it just kind of stirred my heart and healed my heart, I guess.
That's good. That's good. I think that most musicians that, I mean, there's not one musician, including myself, who has not written their best stuff when depressed, or at least been motivated to get back into doing something.
Right.
So,
Yes. So finally, Susan was kind enough to indulge me and let me buy a laptop computer and some speakers and a couple of microphones. And I was going to I started to write some songs. It was around 2010 or something around then. And I started to write and record songs in our living room.
very cool. Fast forwarding to the 2000s, now that you're back making music with Barb and Teresa from Ocean Breeze, was it like riding a bike or more like, why are my fingers so slow now?
Well, my fingers have never been fast. So, uh, and I do struggle with it a little more with age and a little bit of arthritis and stuff. But I'm just trying to be musical, and
That's good.
I can be musical. I'm not going to be flashy. And if I need somebody to play something really good, I'll rope them in to do it.
Everybody's doing collaborations these days because now with the what DAW do you use?
One that no one uses, Digital Performer.
Oh, I don't know
It,
that one. But
it was
they're
the very
only
first one that came out
really? I thought it
back
was
in the
GarageBand.
1990 or 91.
I thought
And
GarageBand was the first.
no, this is way before. I mean, Apple was just getting started,
Oh,
and
you use a
so
Mac.
it was a Mac, and Apple, I think, creates GarageBand too. But that didn't come out till probably a decade later. So there was the very first one, and then Pro Tools came out, and then Digital Performer got the audio part of it together. Because
And
at first they were just
Ableton,
MIDI.
I think too. Wasn't Ableton around at that time?
Ableton wasn't around yet. So this
Really?
is this
See,
is like at the very beginning.
I've really only been introduced to the world of DAWs literally this year. And what I'm finding is that it doesn't matter which one you use, because for example, I did a collaboration with Afira, Christy McClellan. She uses Reaper,
Right.
and I use Studio One Pro 7. I thought, is this going to work? And as John was explaining, he said, as long as you do it from, time it from zero, play the whole track, and everyone, you can have 12 people collaborating, and it's just perfectly synced. That
Yeah,
was shocking to me that we can be all over the world and doing collaborations. Who knows? You and I
it's
might do
wonderful.
one day.
And sonically, it makes no difference. There's no difference between the DAWs, as far as I
Upload
know.
it, yeah, you upload it to Dropbox and somebody downloads it, and someone gets to decide on who's going to mix it, you know.
Right.
So you've got your son, Samson. playing drums on your track. I mean, that's got to be cool. Well, is it as cool as it sounds, or does he give you that teenager, eye roll suggesting something?
No eye rolls from him. He is a fantastic musician. He plays keyboards and drums. Drums are his main instrument. As a matter of fact, he's in Cal Arts down your way. I don't know if you're familiar with that school. It's a
Mhm.
music school, and he's studying, well, it's a fine arts school too. He's studying jazz there.
That's what
And
Catherine was doing. I think she went to Cal State. I would have to. She told me, my God, I did her interview 2 days ago. Can't even remember.
yeah, so he's just a really great musician, and it's hard to get him to play because he's so busy and he wants to practice his stuff. He doesn't want to be playing my stuff, and recording takes a day, to record a couple songs. You got to mic up the drums and get the right sound, and it's just, it's a lot of his time. So it's hard to get him to do it, but he should because I'm paying for his college, right? Uh, but
Good reason. But are you compatible in terms of like he likes what you're doing and you like what he does?
he's very, very respectful, and he seems to like what I'm doing. He does much more complex stuff. He's into, jazz, and he teaches me about jazz, but that wasn't my background. But I think he likes what I do. I mean, he's very encouraging to me, so
What would you
that's
consider
nice.
your music like? More prog rock or what exactly?
Me, everybody has trouble with that, but it's like I'm mainly influenced by Paul Simon. So how would you describe Paul Simon? I mean, he does all
Well, I
kinds.
would say Paul Simon's probably a cross between pop, folk, and rock.
Okay, then me too. Yeah, I love the Eagles and Jackson Brown, all those people that influenced me when I was young.
The
Uh,
Eagles. I met Timothy B. Schmidt at a concert that his daughter Jedra was playing, and I was reviewing her on a webzine, I don't know, 20 years ago. I don't know what she's doing now, but she came out with a really good album, and she was so nice. I didn't even realize I was standing next to him, and I don't know if it was his wife I think it was his wife, because I think she referred to Jedra as her stepdaughter. And she starts chatting me up. And Timothy said, "Don't talk to him. He's the press." And, and I said, "Don't worry." I said, "And by the way, Mr. Schmidt, I'm a big fan." And he's just like,
that's
he
good.
was very gracious. He was very gracious. But I ended up talking to her for most of the night. And he kept looking at me like, aren't we paying attention to Jedra? Yeah.
Right.
It was kind of funny. 30 plus songs in your home studio, which I'm guessing is code for the living room.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So did your wife Susan ever just walk through the frame and you have to yell, cut?
Yeah. Oh, all the time. Everybody. You know,
The
mostly it's the dogs.
dog? Oh, I saw
The
the dog a little while ago. He walked right behind you.
yeah, the dogs start barking, or somebody rings the doorbell and that sort of thing. But sometimes I've managed to keep the dogs on the track. I like that if it kind of works. You can hear it in the background. No one else would notice, but I
Well, Pink
like it.
Floyd did it.
They had a dog on their track?
Didn't they, on the album Animals?
Oh, probably, I'm sure.
And Paul Winter. He was very big on like the wolves and the whales, and there was always like,
Well,
yeah.
all right. Yeah, well, they're not that prominent on the track. It's just kind of a little ear candy for me. I'm probably the only one to notice. Oh yeah, there's Shadow, my old dog, you know, doing a little howl because I was playing harmonica. So then when I do that, then she likes to sing too.
I had a cat many years ago, not recently. My recent cat was really very well behaved about music, but I had a cat years and years ago. I had to put him in the bathroom when I was recording because she wanted to sing with me. And boy,
Yep.
she could not hold a note. But it was so
Yeah.
funny. So your music tackles some pretty dark and soulful subjects, from what I understand, which is refreshing because I like stuff like that. Most people our age are writing songs about their grandkids, What's driving you to write about the heavier stuff?
Well, actually, I do have a couple songs. I don't have any grandkids, but I do have one song I called Father's Day, which I wrote about thinking, it was, all my kids were out of the house, and I was there at the kitchen table, kind of taking in what being a father was, and the song came through to me. So I do write about that stuff too. But I love a song that can make people cry and make me cry. As a matter of fact, I do like open mics. I don't have a band these days, or nobody pays me to sing out. Um, but lots of times when I sing for people, I have to a little bit be careful I don't get too method acty about it because I can start crying and not be able to sing the song. It's not like usually feeling sorry for myself, that kind of tear. It's a tear of, you know, love, or how I fuck people over, or how I'm not good enough, or that kind of thing. Um, but I don't know. I just really I like songs that do something. And one of my songs is called Invictus. And are you familiar with the poem Invictus?
The what?
The poem Invictus.
Invictus? I,
Yeah,
I, I don't remember it, but the title sounds familiar.
there was a movie about it too, and my memory is terrible, but
Wait a minute, is that the thing that was it a stage play at one time?
probably, but it was a movie,
Okay,
Invictus.
I'll have to put that on my list because I love movies.
And a guy who was in prison for apartheid and became president. Or do you remember who that name? A very famous
The
man.
theme sounds familiar.
Anyhow, he read this poem over and over when he was in prison, and it was kind of, am I the captain of my soul? Or, as they're beating me down, I thank the gods that I'm the captain of my soul, that kind of
Very
thing.
metaphysical. Yeah, that's kind of the vibe I got from just a few things I was listening to of yours. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I was all in depression, probably the deepest I've been when I wrote that song. And I just kind of like took that poem and said, I used some lines from it and added in my experiences and just kind of went, you know, what's in the cup from which we drink? Is it the choices that I've made? Am I the master of my fate?
Is
Or
that
am I,
public domain?
it is? Can't remember the guy who wrote it. Robert Bly, maybe. I'm not as literate as you. I don't read as much as you. I remember hearing you and John yapping about all these
I've written three
philosophical
books.
things.
I have three books on the market myself. I
Well,
did a
there you go.
memoir and I'm doing a science fiction trilogy. Two of them are done. The other one should be done by May. The last installment. It's called Her Immortal Menagerie. It's a sci-fi metaphysical saga all
Nice.
about cosmic consciousness.
Well, I love thinking about cosmic consciousness and
You might like my
listening to
book.
podcasts. I just have trouble. Reading is a real chore for me.
Well, another one of my jobs is audiobooks, and I'm reading my own books for that very reason.
Okay, well, when it comes out, you tag me on it, and I'll get
Okay,
into it.
here's the
That'd be great
deal.
because it sounds like a topic. I love Carl Jung. I'll read his books
Oh,
and
I
stuff.
love Carl Jung.
And I read books about dreams. And
Dreams. What was his? Something Dreams and Reflections.
yeah, dreams, reflections, and memoirs.
That memory,
That's not
dreams.
the order of
Yeah,
the words,
memories,
but
dreams, memories, dreams, and reflections. I read
yeah,
that. God, 20 years ago. Love Carl Jung.
yeah,
I was when I was at Community College of Rhode Island, just right after high school. I was walking through the library, I didn't know what I wanted to read. There was like an encyclopedic area that like 2 inch, 3 inch thick books, like 15 of them, all Carl Jung. He actually wrote an entire book on astrology, which blew me away. Together, he was given 50 charts, men, women, and he matched up. I think he was wrong on two of them. I don't remember exactly the study. But I mean, this guy, talk about splitting off from Freud. Wow.
yeah. That was
Anyway,
very
I was going to
painful for
say,
me.
okay, in the opposite end, I saw you wrote woke about police brutality and social justice.
Hmm.
Are you trying to start conversations or just getting things off your chest?
That song was me thinking I wanted to talk to these people that were saying all lives matter. And that I was very involved in Black Lives Matter here in the area, um, back when Trayvon Martin, way back when he first came into light. And here in Sacramento, we had quite a few police shootings of black people that it just seemed so unjust. My wife and I both just decided we got to get involved, and this is right here in our backyard. And
So you guys are activists.
yeah, yeah, we are.
Hmm.
It's slowed down a lot since the pandemic. The George Floyd thing came up and it seemed like, oh, good, everyone else is getting involved. So we don't have to. It doesn't matter if we're not out there in the street with them during the pandemic because so many other people were. But yeah, we've slowed down on it a lot, but we'll still go out and protest or help out where we can. But that's what that song was. I'm just so angry about how people were starting to disparage the word woke. Because when I first heard it, I just went, yeah, I am waking up. Because I was a white male that didn't really get all this stuff. I didn't understand white privilege. And my son told me that the first time. I was like, that sounds ridiculous. I don't have
Well, I'm kind
privilege.
of in a minority because even though I'm white, I'm gay. That kind of marginalizes me. You were using 8 track, 24 track recordings. You've pretty much seen it all. What's the biggest change in music over the decades, besides everything and the DAWs that you've seen?
Produce music. Um, they'll start working in the middle of the song and just create a little beat over 4 measures and then start to build it out different ways. And I'm thinking of the song, the chord structure, I do it the old-fashioned way. I still think of it as tape. It's 24 track. I'm still there. And the younger people, like my son, when he does stuff, it's like that's just a lot of wasted time for him. He just dives right in and starts
I'm still learning
bouncing
how to
things.
deal with MIDI. I still don't understand MIDI.
Yeah, well,
Like some people say, "Oh, I discovered this new." What do you mean you discovered a beat? What does that mean? And then they start putting MIDI instruments in, and a bass line, and then there's like synthesizers, and then there's a plugin in Studio One Pro 7. It's got 15,000 sounds. I mean, I remember when I had like a DX7 back in the day, and
me
it was
too.
like it was great if you had like 100 sounds, right?
Oh yeah.
Now it's like I'm just starting to scratch the surface with MIDI.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you're like me. You use like you write a song, like
I,
thinking of the
I,
melody in your head, right?
yeah. 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 Yeah.
I don't know how to do that new thing that people like come up with a beat and then they just build a song around the beat.
Yeah. Well, I get what they're doing. That's the biggest change.
That's
That's
okay.
not how I do it. I think the young producers are really into the beat and
Well, that's
then,
why I asked you because I think we're about the same age. I'm 64. Um, you're posting new music every couple of weeks. Now that's pretty ambitious. I mean, are you sitting on a gold mine of material or are you just really seriously that productive?
well, first of all, I'm not that productive. It's just this lately um, this EP I released a couple songs before. In 2025, I think I've released, this will be my third EP of 4 songs, and I released a couple singles. But the answer is yes, I am sitting on a gold mine of songs. Songs I've already finished recording and haven't released, and also a lot of ideas and songs that are complete that I haven't recorded. 2025 has been a year mostly of releasing. I haven't written and produced a lot of actual music, and I'm missing it big time right now. I feel like all this promotion stuff and trying to get things out there is eating up a lot of my time.
And you just keep cranking out songs until Susan kicks you out.
No, she's very supportive. So, yeah, collaborations. I've been writing with my friend Elvin Duncan. He lives in Sonoma County. I'm in Sacramento, so it's about a 2-hour drive. But he'll come over, every other month or something, and we'll spend a day. And most of the time, we come out with a song. And
You ever write remotely? No,
I started to do that with him. He doesn't like it.
he didn't
You
like
know, no, he didn't. That works for me, and I, send ideas. I mean, we'll finish up a song, I guess, remotely, and he'll say, "Oh, okay, I'm thinking of this change in the lyric and that change," and or I'll give him a demo and he'll have suggestions. So a little bit goes remote, but the writing, we sit in the same room and do it.
So
Um,
you both, Out of the Blue is an EP, which is a collaboration with Elvin Duncan. And it
yes,
sounds like kind of a departure from your usual acoustic style. And now you're kind of getting into the pop rock territory. What inspired this shift for you?
just I guess it's just the writing, what the song demanded. So, written a lot of songs and they kind of fit in different buckets. So like you said about your song, why would I do an EP if, the stuff is so different? Well, so the EPs I put out, I put together songs that kind of fit in a bucket. And these ones I wrote with Elvin, and I think we were probably influenced on these songs. Think one of them, I was definitely thinking of Steely Dan. Another one, I was definitely thinking of Rick Springfield. Right. Or another one, I was thinking Backstreet Boys, even though I didn't do that kind of vocal thing, but I was thinking, what if they were doing it when we're writing it? And, stuff we grew up with or kind of grew up with. And
Manhattan Transfer, Take Six.
there we go. That's what influenced this set of. Yeah, there's a lot of vocals. I mean, none of it's Manhattan Transfer level vocals, but I love harmony,
Me
and
too.
if I can get other people to sing with me, all the better. But if not,
You know,
I'll pull the parts out.
you're tempting me to. We should talk again about possibly collaborating because I'd be perfectly willing. I'm not going up to Sacramento from LA. I'd love to try and do like something remote. I don't want to do something too lengthy. Maybe like a 3, 4 minute song. Too sounds like you've got actually more ideas than me if you're cranking out 30. Uh,
Yeah,
so if someone never heard your music,
I I think I had a lot of fun doing all the songs, but this song is the last one on the EP, and it's kind of taken from the Me Too movement from a father's perspective.
the Me Too movement.
Yeah, and thinking about, a father thinking about his daughter in the Me Too movement, and what his daughter's very young, and what's she gonna face? And I think I want people to hear that song because it's not necessarily the most pop one or the most grabbing one, but
But that's the
it's
one
the
that's
most
you know,
mostly blue one, I think, out of the EP. The one that's,
okay.
you know, uh, and there's not a lot of harmony on this one.
I love it.
Well, thank you. I love it too.
Well, I want to thank you so much, Dennis, for being with me here today.
It does.
That's the one we're hearing right now, right?
That's right.
Great getting to know you, and I really seriously would like to. Now that I'm hearing your stuff, I would like to do a collaboration.
Sure. Yeah. It's all a matter of time. I want to collaborate with myself. All right.
Well, anyway, thank you
what our
again
future's bring.
for being with the NDT Demos to Discover It with your host, me, Peter Lancelot. Cheers. Are you drinking Earl Grey, as you said?
Yes, I am.
I'm drinking this breakfast.
Earl Grey.
Two angels brushed with air.
So, Captain Picard.
She has no idea the world she's gonna face, the lover she will choose, idea all the crazy things I hear fill me with fear. She has no idea. Strangers, family, friends, which ones will she trust? Sometimes instincts won't be enough. Someday she'll feel the fear that only women know. She's got me praying her strength will show. She has no idea the world she's gonna face, the lover she will choose, the dreams that she will chase. She has no idea all the crazy things I hear fill me with fear. She has no idea. Her mama showed her all the woman can be. I hope I've been the kind of man that stood for family. We try to give her all she needs, but there's no guarantee. She has no idea. She has no idea the world she's gonna face, the lover she will choose, the dreams that she will chase. She has no idea all the crazy things I hear fill me with fear. She has no idea. She has no idea. She has no idea.